welcome. Readings by Rissa here, aka Rissa Vibes. So excited to connect with you. Thank you all for joining me. Today we are talking about meditation. I'm going to talk about what is meditation, why we want to meditate more, and some tips and techniques on how to customize and really stay consistent with your meditative practice. So let's get into it. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and start by talking about what is meditation. Meditation is a stillness of the mind. And with that stillness of mind, you're also able to find what I call your home frequency. And what I mean by that is that we have our own vibration, we have our own frequency. Just like all of the things in this material world that we experience vibrates at its own level, its own frequency, so do we. And oftentimes we're so affected by the external experience and so involved in sensory experience that we often don't take time or even realize that we haven't had time to tune into our home vibration, our home frequency. So with meditation, we're able to still our mind and we're able to dive through the several layers of ourself into the core self and really feel it resonating with us so that we can carry that throughout our daily lives, especially when we are stressed or needing that mental rest. So a lot of the layers of self are kind of what causes the challenge when it comes to meditation. There are so many aspects of ourself and so many perspectives and ways that we present ourselves in this being that we are in and in this complex world that we live in, that it's often hard to find our core essence. And through meditation and really stilling our mind, silencing our mind, and moving through those layers of self, we're able to find our core frequency. Some of these layers include our animal, instinctual self, the way that we portray ourselves, the way we perceive ourselves, and others' perception of us. Those are just to name a few. And so when we have all of these layers of ourself and then we have a core self in the middle, it is sometimes a challenge to tune out the external experience and then tune out and move through all of these different layers of self to get to our true essence. But when we practice this and we really take time to work on being consistent and effective with our meditative practice, we are able to find our home vibration, really resonate with it, and take it with us wherever we go so that we feel 100% ourselves at all times and can be 100% of our potential at all times as well. Another great definition I've found on meditation comes from spirit science, and it talks about how we are not shifting our suffering per se, but we're shifting our perspective of suffering, and we're starting to see a more positive perspective on all aspects of our life through meditation and mindfulness. So this is another great benefit of meditation. So I can't tell you how many messages and comments that I get from people talking to me about how hard it is for them to meditate, for them to quiet their mind and find stillness within. And I understand this struggle because I'm a very complex person. I'm always on the go and I'm always doing different things. So when you have a complex life and you have several layers of self, it does become a challenge to really quiet your mind and find that mode and vibration where your mind is able to be still and you're free from the external stimuli of your daily life. So I'm here to break it down into easy step-by-step processes to help you really achieve your meditative zone in a quick and efficient way and to really develop your practice very fluidly. So the first step is to create a sacred space. By sacred space, I mean finding a comfy space where you feel at home, where you feel at peace, where you feel free of distraction or free of any tension in your body or in your environment, and create a space, whether it be by lighting sage or lighting an incense or putting on some nice meditative calming music, and even just allowing yourself to feel into your own alone time, which many of us don't get during the day. So creating a space where you can actually be alone can be sacred enough as well, especially if you're not used to that. So create a sacred space, whatever that feels like to you. Then the second step is to get comfortable. Find a comfortable position. So many people assume that you have to be in this meditative pose in the lotus position with your legs crossed to meditate, but that's simply not true. You can actually uncross your legs if it's more comfortable. Maybe you have arthritis or you have pain in your joints. Putting your legs in front of you, planted on the ground is totally fine. Whatever feels nice to you, even laying down flat back can be a nice meditative spot for you as well. So wherever you're comfortable and however you're comfortable, it's important to really establish that so that you can feel fully relaxed in your meditative practice. So the next step is to set your intention. And so by setting your intention, you want to really allow yourself to think about and focus on what it is that you are wanting to achieve from your meditative practice. What are some things that you want to feel when you're done with your meditation? Maybe you're going into your meditation feeling really stressed and anxious, and at the end of the meditation you want to feel calm and serene. This can also be an intention for manifesting something new in your life. It can be a declaration of love for yourself. It can be a self-care moment to feel more in tune with your own vibration and to feel more connected with your spirit and your higher self. And it can also be meditation for spiritual growth purposes, like astral travel, lucid dreaming, or any kind of intuitive practice that you may be working on. So set your intention and be clear with yourself on it. Allow yourself to feel into your intention and also declare it to your spirit team that are waiting to assist you. Okay, so step 4 is begin to relax. And I know this may sound hard for some and a little bit easy for others. So no matter where you are on the spectrum of being able to relax, it's okay. And we are going to get you in an even easier mode of relaxation by the end of this video. There are several ways to relax. You can take a bath before meditation to really allow your muscles to relax. You can do deep stretching and really breathe into your muscles and allow any tension to fall away before you do your meditation. That's going to be the most fruitful meditative practice, is when you're fully relaxed. Now I'm going to take you through a quick technique to help you relax. So let's go ahead and close our eyes real quick. Let's take a couple deep breaths, inhaling, exhaling to relax, inhaling, and exhaling to relax. Now I want you to imagine a scanner, kind of a scanner for your body, maybe an X-ray scanner, something similar, and it's got these rays of vibration, and the rays of vibration are combing over your body, detecting any tension in your body and finding those tension spots and releasing the tension and fully relaxing that aspect of your body. So allow this relaxation scanner to scan your body from the head to the toes, and feel as you breathe this scanner releasing tension in your muscles, releasing tension in your mind, and releasing tension with every breath. And notice where this scanner lands, what areas of your body have the most tension, and allow the scanner to release that tension as it focuses its rays of relaxation and serenity onto those areas, fully releasing you from that tension. Breathe deep into those areas of tension and exhale them, breathing out. Take a couple inhales and exhales, and feeling your body relax and sink deeper into your chair. Let's go ahead and open our eyes. So hopefully that helped you feel pretty relaxed, and it was a pretty quick technique that can help you relax in really any moment throughout the day. I like to use this scanner because I'm very visual with my meditations, so I like to imagine things that can be doing the job for me, not really relying so much on myself to relax, but allowing my mind and the power of my imagination to rely on something else to relax me, not feeling so in control of it. Because if you're like me, if you think it's your job to relax you and you don't think you might be doing a good enough job, or you feel it not happening quick enough, it feels like your responsibility, and that can cause tension and stress too. So putting that tension and stress into something that we can imagine, like a scanner that relaxes us, can really be effective. You can also imagine a angel or spirit guide combing light over you or pouring light over you. You can also imagine yourself basking in the light of the divine, basking in the energy of above and the cosmic connection, and really feeling beautiful golden energy relaxing you with every radiant wave of that energy. And there's several ways you can do this. So that would be a great way to start your relaxation and start to get into your meditation. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is deepening our breath. This is going to also relax us naturally, and this is the 5th step of our meditative technique. So deepening our breath, and with every exhale, allowing for ourselves to be more and more relaxed, and then inhaling, expanding our lungs, expanding our chest, bringing light into our body, and then exhaling, relaxing deeper. And as we do this a few times, inhaling, expanding, and exhaling, relaxed, we start to feel a lot of tension fall away, and we get into a nice, steady breath sequence that feels very natural to us. And it's important to have it feel natural, because just like we have our own vibration, we have our own rhythm. And so it's important for us to feel into our own natural deep breath and to allow our bodies to take control. Now, while we're doing this, we can start to allow our mind to tune out the external experience, and that is the 6th step. And when we tune out the external experience, we're able to really get deeper into our own core self, because all the other layers that are interacting with the external world begin to fall away. And when those layers fall away, we feel a sense of stillness, that meditative zone that we all crave. A sense of our mind and our brain relaxing, and the stimulus from the day falling away. So let's go ahead and practice some techniques on how to tune out your external experience. I'm going to close my eyes. That's the first way. Closing our eyes allows us to not have the sensory perspective of sight that can really distract us from what we're focusing on within. So closing your eyes, and then using our step 5, our deep breaths, we allow ourselves to sink deeper into our relaxation. And with this breath, you may begin to start having some distracting thoughts. You may be hearing sounds in your environment, in your surroundings, that are distracting you. You may be thinking about aspects of your day that you haven't finished. Several things can be running through your mind at this time. And a way to tune out the external experience and the external thoughts is to really allow them to have attention. I know that sounds silly at first, but giving these thoughts attention by simply acknowledging them, this can be a subtle nod to these thoughts in your mind. They can be a smile to these thoughts, a way to show these thoughts attention. And then as soon as you do, by giving them a time and a space to air their energy, you simply allow them to move on. Now, if you're a visual person like me, you can imagine maybe a typewriter of these thoughts. These thoughts are typed out in the typewriter of your mind. And then once the thought is complete, you can simply delete that thought, because it no longer is necessary. So when you have a thought, or when you hear a noise, or where you feel something that doesn't feel a part of your meditative practice, I want you to go ahead and swipe that thought, that sound, that experience away, out of your mind, allowing you to sink deeper into your stillness. Practice that now with some deep breaths. And even the thought to not have a thought can be swept away here, to be wiped away clean. simply acknowledging the thoughts, allowing them to know that they are validated, and then simply wiping them away, letting them know that we will return to them after our practice is done. Now, during this practice, I also want to take a moment to discuss the sensation that comes with stillness in our mind. Almost feels like a pause button on all of our thoughts, all of the frequencies, all of the stimulus, all of the interaction with our mind, pausing that and creating complete stillness, complete silence, and a completely clean slate. So hopefully you were able to reach a bit of a clean slate mind there. It does take practice, and this is something that doesn't always come easy. And oftentimes you may have to start over and do it again another day or at another time if it becomes frustrating, or if you become angry or upset by the inability to get to that zone. So it's really important not to let yourself get upset, because this is practice. It isn't easy, and it is something that will get better and easier over time. But if you allow yourself to get frustrated, or if you start being self-deprecating or mean to yourself, or having negative thoughts surrounding your meditative practice, then you will be less likely to try again. So I encourage you, if you start to get frustrated, just stop for the day. Tell yourself that it's okay. Give yourself a big hug and a pat on the back for trying and for taking the time to sit down and attempt your meditation and practice it. And it doesn't mean that you failed. It just means that right now is not the time, and it's important to come back to it later. So that is really important, because you don't want to develop a negative connotation with your meditative practice, because it is supposed to feel great and it's supposed to be blissful. So we want to continue practicing it until it becomes that way. So the last step for meditation is the 7th step, and it is to decide on a focus. Now, I know that seems kind of bizarre, since we just focused on not focusing on anything and really creating a stillness in our mind. But once we get to that level of stillness and we start to feel that home vibration, and if you started to feel it just now when we practice, it starts to feel like a humming, or sometimes a wave, or a pulsing, or a rocking in your body that feels so subtle and so deep within that you almost can't tell if you're moving or if the outside world is moving. You kind of just feel this vibration, this frequency. That's your home frequency, so congratulations on tapping into it if you did. Now, when we get to that point, it's important to allow ourselves to focus on something that will keep us there. Now, this can be tricky because we are in that stillness, that frequency. So if that means to just continue focusing on your breath so that you can hold on to that buzzing feeling, or that nice home stillness, home frequency feeling, then do that. Or if it's important for you to focus on a mantra, this can be Om or Sat Nam or Waheguru. Mantras like this can help us in our mind's eye or vocally out loud focus on the frequency that we have obtained and the stillness, and keep the external distractions out. So it allows us to repeat something that keeps our mind focused, so our mind doesn't start pulling in other stimuli that can distract us. So I have been meditating for a really long time, and it has really done wonders for me. I've had tons of experiences in my meditations. I've had astral travel happen. I've connected with spirit guides and beings from other dimensions, angelic beings, ET beings, ascended masters, just tons of different connections I've had. I've also been sent on lots of synchronicities and kind of portal trips to other places and opportunities that I couldn't have ever fathomed having happen without meditation and a strong meditative practice. And I also attribute a lot of my intuitive development and intuitive gifts to my meditative practice and my channeling abilities as well. So these are just some of the benefits of meditation from an intuitive and spiritual growth standpoint. So a couple of tips from me specifically on meditation I really enjoy being consistent with my meditation. I like to make sure that I'm meditating around the same time every day, especially when I'm trying to get back into a consistent practice. Meditating every day is really, really great, but if you're not doing it at a specific time every day, your mind might not really trigger into that exercise mode and consistent mode for your meditation. So it's important to pick a time of day that feels good to you, that you can be consistent with. I like to do a meditation before I go to bed every night, and I also love to do one right when I wake up every morning. It's a great way to set the tone for your day, to really create a nice peaceful vibration, and to really allow yourself to do a nice reset from whatever experience you had the night before or the day of. Also, I love to keep a meditation journal, especially when you start getting deep into your meditative practice. You will start to have a lot of messages come through from your spirit guides, and if you don't have a journal handy when you're having these experiences, it can be really hard to remember the entirety of them after you get out of your meditative zone or later on after your meditative practice. I also really like to have the journal for the purpose of recording your meditative experiences, and also just talking to yourself about what ways you've gotten meditation to work for you and what are some of the challenges that you had with meditation. So that way you can really fine-tune your meditative practice and customize it to your own path and your own ability. Okay, so another tip from me is being patient. Patience is huge with meditation. There are going to be days where you just can't seem to get into the meditative zone. Maybe you're too stimulated mentally, you've got too much going on, and you just can't seem to sit still, and that's okay. It's important that you try and that you put the effort and energy into practicing it, but if it's just not happening, it's okay to get up and try again another day. But being hard on yourself or being mean to yourself because you can't get into the meditative zone will only work against you in the long run by not letting you be excited and blissful and ready for something awesome every time you sit down to meditate. Another tip from me is definitely never deny the meditative impulse. So a lot of us get the impulse to meditate random times during the day for a reason. This is usually when the veil is really thin for us, whether it be at a specific time during the day or just that our loved ones that have passed on, our spirit team or our higher self is really available to us vibrationally and wanting to connect. So if you can, never deny the meditative impulse or the intuition to meditate, because in those moments when you get this sudden impulse to do it and you sit down and you allow yourself to tap in, those are usually the times where the connection and the ability to connect to your higher self and your home frequency is most potent. And you can get a ton of amazing benefits from listening to your intuition and really allowing yourself to cater to it in that way. Okay, that's all for tips and techniques. Hopefully those helped you. I want to practice a couple of ways to meditate real quick and lead us on a nice meditation that will cover all of these aspects that we just talked about. So let's get into it. So like we said, make sure you have your sacred space created. Here's my sacred space. I always sit in this chair. I like the lights behind me. I love the tapestry. This is my solar plexus and sacral chakra tapestry, so really good for those energies. It also helps me set that intention because those tend to be the chakras that need the most work for me and the ones that I use the most. So I really like to make sure those are really charged. I also just saged the room and lit some incense. So we've got some nice rose aromatherapy here and sage. So really helping us open our heart chakra, keeping the air and our energy clean, and getting us ready for our meditation. Now you can also dim the lights or meditate in darkness. That can be really nice and blissful as well. Also, just a little kind of funny story. I actually forced myself to meditate in the dark for quite a while because I was afraid of the dark. And I realized that the reason why I was afraid of the dark for so long was because when I'm in the dark, my intuitive abilities get very, very strong, and I can feel energy way more potently than when I'm in this kind of light environment. And so I kind of think that it's because I'm more light energy that I feel like I'm more active. My light is more active in darkness, and so I would often feel a lot more clairvoyance, or I would feel energies and spirits really close to me or around me when I was in the dark, and it would scare me. So I went through a couple of months of intense meditation in the darkness to push myself through that fear and really tap in stronger to my intuitive ability and really face my intuitive gift head on that way. And it worked wonders. I was able to really have some amazing experiences and really eliminate a lot of my fear just by realizing that there was nothing to be afraid of, and that it was simply just my gift being more active and my sensitivity increasing, which is kind of what made me a little frightened because I didn't understand it. But now that I know it, it's been really amazing. So I encourage you to, even when you get deep into your meditative practice, meditate in places that might be even more challenging for you, that will really help you develop a stronger meditative practice. Maybe meditate in a crowded room or at a bus station, somewhere where you have a lot of distraction, if you know that you're really working on tuning out things, if that's something that you really want to do. So try those things and have fun with it. Challenge yourself. All right, let's get into a practice. So let's close our eyes. And we're going to take some deep breaths. Let's start with an inhale, inhaling together. Exhale, relax. Inhaling. Exhale, relax. Relaxing deeper. Next inhale, biggest one yet, filling your lungs with air, opening up to all your spirit's messages and your divine higher self frequency and home vibration. And a big exhale to relax. Now go ahead and continue breathing deeply like this, allowing for your own rhythm of breath to take over. And as you relax with this rhythm and you allow it to take over and consume you, allow yourself to use that typewriter tool that we used earlier. And if you're having any thoughts, let the typewriter in your mind type that out in front of you. And when the thought is complete, go ahead and delete that typewriter thought and delete it from the page, clear it away. Any distractions, any sounds that don't resonate with you, clear those away with your typewriter or your whiteboard, whatever it is that you may be using as a tool visually. Clear any thoughts or any connections to your external experience. Clear them away with every breath. Breathing deeply in and exhaling any distractions away. And with that deepened breath and the external experience fading away, feel into your heart chakra. Feel into the depth of your heart chakra, pulling your energy and your consciousness deeper into your heart. Feeling your consciousness move into your heart fully, breathing deeply and experiencing what it feels like to be in this space. As we feel into this space, let's go ahead and bring some love into the heart. We'll use love as our mantra, and we'll focus our attention on this mantra of love by saying it quietly to ourselves or out loud, with every inhale or exhale, whichever feels most natural. Love. 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 Now quietly to yourself. And hopefully by now you're feeling your vibration change, feeling a more still energy within the mind and within your core self. and also feeling a sense of relaxation and a sense of love in your heart space. Now, for the next few moments, go ahead and just allow yourself to focus in on the stillness of your mind. And if you haven't reached the stillness yet, continue focusing on your breath, allowing it to fall deeper and deeper into relaxation. Or focus on that love mantra until you feel the stillness come over you. And when you reach the stillness, allow yourself to breathe with the stillness, holding on to that stillness, free of distraction. Becoming more silent in your meditative practice. Now, before we wake you from this meditative stance, remind yourself of your intention if you haven't already. And allow yourself to feel into the reality of this intention, knowing that it is possible and that it is here now, and that you have achieved it simply by creating the space and intending for it to be. And so it is. And now go ahead and give some thanks to yourself, to your higher self, and to your spirit team for joining together today and taking this moment, creating this sacred space, setting an intention, relaxing, breathing deeply, reaching stillness, finding your home frequency, focusing on this stillness, and bringing yourself deeper into the reality of the intention you set through this beautiful meditative experience that you have created. And breathe in that gratitude for yourself, that love for yourself, and remember that this is the energy that fuels the success of your life. Love and gratitude is what fuels your success. Starting to wiggle your fingers and toes, bringing yourself back into this physical world slowly. Allow yourself to begin opening your eyes whenever you're ready, fluttering them open. Returning to this consciousness in the physical world. Hopefully you feel that vibration change and you went somewhere, or got a message, or saw a cool color, or felt a cool frequency, or even felt a little bit of silence for the first time in meditation. Whatever kind of little win or big win that you accomplished here in the meditative practice, give yourself a pat on the back, give yourself a nice big hug, and thank yourself for putting the time and work in to create this time for yourself. And for learning more about meditation with me. Thank you so much for listening and for being here. I appreciate you all so much. So excited to connect with you as always. I hope you learned something about meditation today. I hope you feel more confident and excited to enter your meditative practice and more prepared to have a beautiful and effective meditative life. Make sure to turn your notifications on for this channel and subscribe if you haven't already. And like the video and share it with anybody that you feel needs some practice in their meditative techniques or are looking to find a way to meditate. Thank you so much, and I love you all. Have a wonderful day. Bliss and happiness to you. See you later. And I say, hey.